It's been a roller coaster. 18 months of soaring and falling numbers of cases of coronavirus. 100,000 deaths in the United Kingdom. But now, is the epidemic finally coming to an end? Confirmed UK cases have fallen in the last 6-7 days, dropping 21.5% a week on week up to July the 26th. So could it be that we finally reached so-called herd immunity, when so many people are protected that the epidemic fizzles out? Or are we saying just a short-term downturn that we followed by yet another rise and maybe yet another fall? Most likely, I think, we'll experience a number of peaks and falls in the next couple of months, because we're not scaling a single mountain here. So is it time to come back to church? If you're physically able to come back and you've stayed away, it's a difficult decision. Is it safe? I can't answer that question for you. I can only make sure that we worship together as safely as possible. What I can say today, though, is that Christian faith can't be sustained online forever. Watching the parish Eucharist on a screen is better than nothing, of course, but online services threaten to turn the sanctity of worship into just another hour of alienating technology. And no technology can outweigh the fact that Christianity is inescapably physical. It's not just a message that can be communicated through social media. It's also about bodily participation, the receiving of bread and wine. Receiving the Eucharist is a physical activity requiring physical participation. The statements, "This is my body, this is my blood," make Christianity about matter physically ingested. You can no more do this online than you can go to the dentist online. And this is why lockdown was such a threat, literally, to the lifeblood of the Christian faith, our lifeblood. And why the locked church doors felt like such a betrayal of the need of so many parishioners for the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist. Now, all this was really established long ago. In his Confessions, Augustine relates a story told to him by his friend Simplicianus, who became the Bishop of Milan after St. Ambrose in the late 4th century. Even though Simplicianus was nearly 80 when he became bishop, St. Ambrose wanted him to be his successor, saying that he was old but good. St. Simplicianus told St. Augustine about a friend of his who'd been a famous orator in Rome, a man of great learning, a man of high culture, named Marius Victorinus. Although he was a learned pagan, late in his life, Victorinus began to read the Bible. And one day, he confided in his friend St. Simplicianus that he had become a Christian, but secretly. Simplicianus replied, "I shall not believe that, or count you among the Christians, unless I see you in the Church of Christ." Victorinus laughed and he said, "Then do walls make a Christian?" St. Simplicianus told St. Augustine that Victorinus was afraid that his friends would be offended, he'd be ostracized if it became known that he was a Christian. But as he continued to read the scriptures, he grew in courage, and it occurred to him that he did not want Jesus to deny him before the holy angels, it says in scripture. He shouldn't be denying Jesus before his unholy friends if he didn't want Jesus to deny him before the holy angels. So Victorinus went to the church and he asked to be baptized. And a whisper, a rumour, a murmur went through the congregation that day. Victorinus! It's Victorinus! St. Paul wrote in his epistle to the Romans, "Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." Do not be conformed, he writes, but be transformed. To be conformed is to be formed with, to take on the shape of, like plastic takes on the shape of the mould it's poured into. To be conformed to the world is to take the shape of the world. We cannot take on the shape of the world because the world is the problem. The world is the locus of rebellion against God. The world, which of course has many good and beautiful and wonderful things as God's good creation, has murder, has jealousy, has hate, has greed, has cruelty and indifference. We may love the world. Indeed, St. John tells us, God so loved the world that he allowed his only Son to be killed. But it is in the world that the Son of God is killed. You may love the world, but do not be conformed to the world. St. Simplicianus is right. Christians need to be distinguished from the world, to come out of Babylon. And the easiest way to do this is for us to place our bodies in the church. Put your body in church. Present your bodies, as St. Paul also writes. Then you're identifiable as a Christian. Use your voice to proclaim your belief in the Christian faith, as we do when we stand to say the creed together. And then you can be counted as a Christian. Just as it's not possible to receive the Eucharist online, so it's not possible to present your body, proclaim your faith online. And it never will be. Pandemic or no pandemic, walls make Christians. That's why we must gather again in our church on Sundays. And that's why I invite you, if you can, to join us as soon as you judge it to be safe.